The blue screen of death is going away. Well, no, that's not quite right. The blue screen of death is getting a makeover. Pretty soon, it will be black. Hi there, everyone. It's Jeff, and this is Plain English for Monday, August 11th, 2025. Great to have you here again. Thanks for making Plain English part of your English learning routine. I apologize for my scratchy voice. I've been under the weather this week, but here behind the microphone, giving it a go for you today. Well, listen, when you listen to Plain English stories, you'll learn new words in English and new ways of expressing ideas. And my hope is you'll even start thinking in English. Well, today's story is a bit of a lighthearted one. Microsoft is retiring its blue screen of death. This is the screen that strikes fear and terror into the hearts of Windows users everywhere. It's the screen that signals the computer has crashed and needs to be restarted. It's been blue since the early days of Windows, and now it will be black. And yes, this is big news, and it is worthy of a Plain English episode. This one is number 796, so you can find the full transcript, in-app translations, quiz, fast and slow audio, practice exercises, and more, all at plainenglish.com/796, and that is thanks to JR, the producer. plainenglish.com/796. Before we start today's story, I'd just like to remind you that the podcast is just one part of how we can help you upgrade your English skills. At plainenglish.com, you can make faster progress with active learning strategies. You can take quizzes, do activities, listen to the fast version of the audio, watch video workshops, practice what you learn, and even join a live call with JR and me. It's all about helping you build your skills to become a better, more confident English speaker. Sound good? Go to plainenglish.com to start your free 14-day trial today. Now, let's jump into today's story. For the last 40 years, the color blue has represented computer failure. It goes back to the early days of Microsoft Windows. Before Windows, most PC users interacted with their computers using a program called DOS, a very simple black screen with white or light gray text. When Microsoft introduced its new operating system called Windows, it gave computer users a huge upgrade. This new system was easier to use and much more pleasant to look at. But it was also more complicated and more prone to errors. And that brings us to the color blue. When they ran into errors, the earliest versions of Microsoft Windows flashed a bright blue screen, filled with incomprehensible white text. As later versions of Windows became more complex, they became susceptible to crashing. They ran into critical errors that required the computer to be restarted. And every instance of Windows used a similar color scheme. A bright blue background taking up the entire screen with basic white text displaying the error. Pretty soon, users started calling this the blue screen of death. Microsoft, for its part, never officially adopted that term. They call it the unexpected restart screen. But if you say blue screen of death to any Windows user, they'll know what you mean. The earliest versions of this blue screen included codes that could, in theory, help users diagnose the problem. But these codes were highly technical, and most people just restarted their computers. Legend has it that Steve Ballmer, who eventually became CEO, wrote the codes on the first screens. Then, in 2012, Microsoft redesigned the screen, and that version is still in use today. This one has a big frowny-face emoticon. Below it, in white text, is a little bit more information, including an error code. Some versions have a QR code that you can scan to look up the source of the problem. Generations of computer users associate this look with crashes. Plain white text on a bright blue background, taking up the whole screen. Today, crashes are less frequent, and they're not so bad. A lot of our work is in the cloud, and Microsoft programs are much better at auto-saving now, but it hasn't always been that way. The blue screen of death often signaled the death of your evening plans. It frequently meant you had lost hours of unsaved work and had to redo it all from memory. Everyone has their favorite, or least favorite, blue screen of death experience. Mine was in Cincinnati. But the most famous crash didn't happen to just one computer user, it happened to millions, all at the same time. In July 2024, Microsoft suffered a massive global outage. The cause was an update to security software from the company CrowdStrike. The update was faulty and caused Windows to crash on systems that were running CrowdStrike security software. Around the world, more than 8 million systems crashed in businesses, airports, train stations, hospitals, emergency response systems, and government offices. And all their screens showed the blue screen of death for many hours. Pictures from that day show the frowny face emoticon splashed across display boards, in baggage carousels, retail stores, and public spaces, everywhere from Germany to Australia and India to America. The color blue and Microsoft's preposterous frowny face were literally the symbol of international disruption for a few chaotic days. That brings us to Microsoft's news. The blue screen of death is going away. The company hasn't said it's directly because of the CrowdStrike experience, but you have to imagine Microsoft is eager to put that day behind it and to bury the most visible symbol of its biggest ever outage. Sadly, though, crashes themselves will not be going away. Starting later this year, Microsoft will announce crashes with a black screen. And no, it won't include an emoticon. In a blog post, Microsoft said the design change is part of a broader effort to reduce crashes, increase security, and make restarts faster. They want system restarts to happen in 2 seconds. Now, just one more question. What will happen to the name blue screen of death now that the restart screen will be black? Office workers know the blue screen of death is like a get-out-of-jail-free card. Why did you drop off during the middle of that call? Why didn't you respond to that email? Why weren't you at your desk? Why haven't you finished that presentation yet? I got the blue screen of death, you can reply, and everyone will sympathize. It's a great equalizer. It's one of the few things that happens to the CEO and to the receptionist. Maybe the meme and the name will stay. Maybe we'll just say black screen of death in the future. For as long as I live, I will never understand why Microsoft put a frowny face emoticon on its restart screen. Like, why would you purposely call attention to the negative emotions that your product is causing your customers? Anyway, if you're feeling nostalgic, you can buy t-shirts, mugs, and posters with the blue screen of death design. Just be careful not to trigger any office workers around you. That's it for this one. Another Plain English is officially in the books. This one was number 796, and thank you very much to JR. He is the producer of Plain English, and he has made sure that the fast and slow audio, transcripts, translations, quiz exercises, and all that stuff are up on the website. You can find all that at plainenglish.com/796. And a big extra thank you for JR this week, because we're all doing it at the last minute because I wasn't feeling well this week. Anyway, my voice is back to normal, I think. I think it's doing okay. We'll be back on Thursday with a new topic. See you then. Listen up if you speak Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, German, French, Italian, Japanese, Polish, or Turkish. One of the most frustrating things about listening and reading in a second language is being confused by unfamiliar words or phrases. When you listen to Plain English, or when you read the transcript, you probably encounter some words you don't know. When that happens, you have a few options. You can stop the audio, go look up the definition, then return to the episode, find your place, and press play again, but that's exhausting. Or you can just skip it and be confused. That's no fun either. But what if you could see the translation of the word into your language instantly without having to stop the audio, without having to look anything up? Well, you can at plainenglish.com. For each episode, we translate about 100 words and phrases from English to 9 languages: Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, German, French, Italian, Japanese, Polish, and Turkish. And we highlight those words in blue. All you have to do is hover your mouse over the highlighted word, and you'll see the translation instantly. It works great on mobile too. It really makes listening a lot more satisfying, and it's a great way to expand your vocabulary in English. The best way to see these translations is to sign up for a free 14-day trial at plainenglish.com. During your trial, you can read as many transcripts as you like, all with the translations into your language. So sign up for your free trial today at plainenglish.com.